What's up guys, and welcome back to TechPlant. Today I'm going to show you how to make a cheap, awesome alternative to the Terra planter. My original video got copyright strike, so I'm making a new one and I won't show any of their products, but it's a really cool way to make a similar thing. And if you don't know where to get this, you can pick one of these up at Hobby Lobby for $7.99, and then if you use the 40% coupon that you can use every time, you can drop it down even lower. If you can't find a Hobby Lobby near you, you can just look up clay flue or terracotta flue or terracotta pipe. They also make terracotta wine coolers. Any one of those things can be retrofitted to do just that. The main principle behind this thing is the terracotta is porous and it allows water to leach through, so any plants that you attach on the outside will allow it to drink water. So you just fill it up and then you can kind of watch the terracotta as it saturates with water. It's pretty cool, and you can even see droplets forming on the outside. So this is going to be great to grow mosses, epiphytes, and other like orchids or other kind of like tree growing plants. So let's get started rigging this thing out and making it look beautiful. I collected a bunch of moss that I had in my yard and what I already had in my collection, and really what you need is some like twine. So I'm going to use some jute twine and some fishing line to adhere stuff to this. Don't worry too much about the twine or the fishing line being visible at first, because we can find ways to kind of tuck it in, and once the moss begins to grow in a week or two, it won't be visible anymore, but this allows the plants to get a good root and really adhere and attach to the terracotta. I'm going to start with this big chunk of common fern moss. This stuff looks really beautiful. I love the texture and it just reminds me of ferns, so I really love it. To get it started, just kind of tie your twine around the actual terracotta pot right in the middle, and then you're going to use it and just kind of wrap it around lightly around the fern moss just to kind of hold it up against the terracotta. Once you've got it tied down, you can tie it off. I want to grow some plants from this, so I'm going to use sphagnum moss kind of as the medium to get them kind of stuck in there and hold some more water. I don't know if just sticking cuttings on the side of this is going to work well, so I do want to start with kind of a substrate. I can always pluck this out later once the roots have adhered. This time though, I tested out the fishing line just to see how different that is. It works just the same, as in you can't really see it, which is nice, but I don't like how thin it is, and I fear that it could cut into any like bigger plants if you tighten it too tight, and it doesn't tie nice knots easily for me. I definitely prefer the twine. I've got a lot of Monstera Addisoni laying around, so I'm going to use some little vines that I have that already have roots, and I'm actually going to take some fresh cuttings and stick it in the moss and just stick it right to the side of the pot. I can almost guarantee they're going to root on here, and it's going to look beautiful when I have it all coming out the side. I've also adhered a few other different types of moss to the sides and left some bare spots on the outside, because I do want to see some moss actually grow naturally on this and take over. If you leave it long enough, and it'll stay wet obviously because we have water inside, but if you do that, the moss should spread over the open areas and it's going to look really cool. Once you got your plants and mosses kind of all wrapped around, all it takes is adding some water. Definitely recommend adding water later, because you might have to move the pot around a lot and it's easier without the water inside. Now you do have two choices you can go from here. You can add a lid to it by just using one of the little terracotta dishes, or you can leave it open. In my case, I really like it with these floating plants in the top. I think it's really cool looking and adds just a whole nother dimension to it. But if you want a lid so you don't have to add water as often, the best part about this one is you can just add one of those little terracotta dishes, and you can turn that into a little moss garden as well. So it's kind of a double, the lid serves as a pot and a lid, and it looks really cool. It's kind of up to you and your taste. If you got $6 or $7 to spend, I definitely recommend finding one of these. You can make a really cool piece. Heck, this could even be a centerpiece in your kitchen or anywhere. It's really easy to use because you just fill it with water. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed that. As always, may your plants go strong and healthy. I'll see you next time.